Okay, here we are at a home in Citrus Heights, and Citrus Heights has a lot of haunting activity because of the Japanese internment camps. So I've done a lot of investigations in Citrus Heights. And in this house, there's all kinds of little things going on. But before I have the occupant, Jason, talking, I want to see what my psychic picked up on. John, you did a little walkthrough. Did you pick up on anything?
Yeah, I picked up on a few things. The bedroom up here. I picked up on a female. I want to say first name. I would say she was called Vivian. And I pick up on a gentleman, an older gentleman. Name starts with a V also. I'd probably say maybe Vernon. And the name, I don't know if it's a name or if it's just a term, but friend is being thrown out there an awful lot. So I don't know if Vernon is telling me that they were friends or that's a name that is associated with this house. I believe the female passed away here and that he's drawn back to this house because she is here. And then I pick up on an energy. I don't think he's deceased, but my guides are telling me there's, it may be associated with you. I'm getting an elderly gentleman, first name Donald. That seems to be, usually when I get a family member, I'm being told, you know, to have you keep an eye. I don't know if he's passed, but he seems to be an old elderly gentleman that may be attached to you or someone in your family. But yeah, when I go up here into this room, my heart just, you know, takes off. So I don't know if it has something to do with her, but I would say she and the older gentleman, Vern, is definitely tied to this house.
Interesting. If you take a little scan here, Big Al, these are all my investigators tonight that will be investigating. And I want to thank the occupant, Jason Hardy, for providing us with guacamole dip and some crackers and coffee and everything else. And I'm going to let Jason kind of take over. Jason, so how long have you been living in this house?
So I lived here for 7 months. And right away, all kinds of little things were starting to happen. I'm single, and so in this neighborhood here, there is no noise. There's nothing. It's very, very quiet. So every little noise. I've lived in a lot of places around the world, and I've never had. Usually, here are the houses creaking and settling, and you know what those noises are. Within the first couple months of me living here, there was pounding on the walls in the middle of the night. And you think it was first you think it's somebody pounding on the door, but it's not. It's distinctly a wall. And that's happened 4 or 5 times, where it's a single big pound on the wall, like really loud. And then a couple times it's a double pound on the walls. And it's usually down here, downstairs. And then one night the covers were pulled off of me in this bed upstairs. And I thought I was losing my mind, because you think you're sleeping and you think you're making it up. And then it happened again. And then one night I fell asleep holding my phone in my hand, and I just kind of fell over with it, and it got knocked out of my hand one night. And so also there's constant noises all night long. There's a constant plastic noise down here. There's creaking on the floors like somebody's walking around. I just got back from Europe, and I had somebody house sitting, and they heard noises upstairs. They had a little party down here, and they heard footsteps upstairs. I was here the other night, and we have no plumbing problems. Everything's brand new. I'm a do-it-yourself. I replaced everything. I'm remodeling it. And the toilet flushed by itself upstairs. And so I'm not sleeping, and so So I like to have it dark and quiet so you can get some good sleep. So I'm sleeping with the lights on, and upstairs in the bedroom there's a Comcast box, a television, and Bose speakers all in one outlet. And so I'm leaving them on just to kind of make background noise to drown out all the other noises that are happening so you can get some sleep. And I fell asleep, and now I'm taking a log. I'm writing all this stuff down. I call it my ghost log. And it always happens between 3 and 5 in the morning, it seems like. And at 4:45 in the morning, about a couple months ago, all of a sudden, it was like the Twilight Zone. The television just went crazy. Just like Twilight Zone, just the white noise came from the television all by itself. But everything else was still on. And I heard the little micro click from the little switch clicking off. And so it couldn't be the power was going out. Something had interfered from the infrared spectrum, because all 3 devices are on infrared, right? Your remotes and all those things are on infrared. And so it had interfered with the Comcast box and projected it up. And I can't repeat that today. I can't turn any device on and create that white noise. It's like, the 1950s white noise on the television. And so it was 4:45 in the morning. I wake up at 5:15. And so this time I'm getting pissed off. And so it's like, what are you going to do? Chase me out of my house? You're here to like, what, make me scared? Am I going to run out of here? So I got up and I had to go to the bathroom. So I ran into that bathroom upstairs, and immediately I ran into a fog bank. And it was like running into a million cobwebs in your head. The whole top of the ceiling was cold, and the bottom half was warm. And it was like I was batting my head. And I think I ran into the spirit. And that made sense because it probably was interfering with the television.
Did you see it?
No, it was all dark. But it just gives you an idea of what's happening. So
Okay, and so was John correct about the bedroom over here?
he's absolutely correct about the bedroom.
Okay.
And Don's my father.
Oh,
That's my father. And Vivian, by the way, the neighbors, so they have to do full disclosure when you purchase these houses. And they never told me about a thing until I was signing the papers. And they kept telling me this house is as is, and you're trying to get the good bargain, right? And this house was half price. So I was like, I'm going to go for it. And so the moment I was signing the papers, they said, oh, by the way, somebody died here, and her name was Vivian. And it was in that bed upstairs, well, in that room.
Wow.
So that makes sense that things are happening up here a lot. I mean, a lot. I can't sleep. So then I told my friend Chad, who told me about Lori.
Yeah, Lori Schultz. Yes.
And
She's
then Lori
the
told
case manager
me
for
you,
this.
and then you called me. So I think I'm losing my mind.
No, you're not. You're not.
So
And you validated what John said.
yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. Yeah.
And the creepy thing is that if you look online for like home values, like Trulia and Zillow and those things, so everybody wants to know what their houses is worth. If you look at, even though the house is sold, there's still some pictures of the house when it was sold. And there's a picture from that balcony down here to this floor of Vivian sitting down here. And another friend of mine, her name is Isabella, and she's English, and her mother's a psychic. She came over one night and visited me and didn't tell me anything, but she said she felt a presence here as well. And she said it was a female. And she said it wasn't the person that died here. She thought it was somebody else, but she felt it down here in this corner over here. But
What did the lady die from?
cancer.
From cancer.
Well, that is amazing. Instead of being an HPI owner of this company, what I should start doing is becoming an agent for John. He makes $1 million. I take a percentage of it.
Out of it.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's important to not say anything to you guys
Wow.
first, to just try to see fill in the blanks. Because
Yeah, because I asked you
because-
your name and you said no.
Because bias occurs in human psychology
Yeah.
a lot. If I would tell you something, you'd tend to believe it, right? If I would say something, it would lead you down the path of that. And it's most important, don't say anything.
have you heard of anybody by the name of Vern?
No. No.
Because there are definitely two here, and they are tied together.
Wonder if maybe Vern would be maybe Vivian's husband or
That's what
father.
I'm thinking, and I'm thinking that, if she's in this room here, especially when you go to bed, and he's coming looking for her,